Hey guys, Modern Day Sportsman here. Today in this video we're going to be covering rigging for spring steelhead fishing, more specifically rigging for spring steelhead in the Great Lakes. I know I already have a video titled the exact same thing on my channel, but that was one of my first videos, and it's surprisingly my most watched video. And when I look back at it, I think I can do a way better job. So here we go. Alright guys, so first we'll get into the combo I'm using. This is a Chinese float reel. Picked it up for 30 or 40 bucks from China, and it works exactly like a regular float reel. It's got a lock, it's free spool, everything. It works beautiful. The rod I'm using is a Daiwa Aculite 13.6 light action 6 to 10 pound rod, and the line I'm using is my favorite float line to use. This is the Blood Run Tackle number 10 floating mono, and it's it's the green. It's the fluorescent green, so it helps you see it on the water. For a leader, I like to use Berkeley Vanish 6-pound fluorocarbon. For hooks, I'm using number 10 Raven light wire steelhead hooks. For lead split shot, there's a couple things you can use. These are number 6 BB shot, and you want from number 6 all the way probably up to BB. For floats and other terminal tackle, I like to use these Sheffield 4-gram floats, but whatever you like to use will work. 2 pieces of shrink tubing and a little number 10 swivel. Alright, now on to baits. So for bait, for spring steelhead, there's a lot of different things you can use. You can use something like these. This is pink worms. These are artificial pink worms. Guys at Kite Fished hooked me up with these. These right here are one of my favorites. So when you don't have access to fresh roe, impact baits, their trout eggs, string trout eggs work amazing. They come in 3 different colors, and they work just perfect. Guys, last but not least, but definitely my favorite, are beads. So beads are a very versatile bait, and they can be used in clear water, they can be used in dirty water, and the number one thing is they always catch fish. So over here I have, this is my bead box. So I have from 6mm all the way up to 12mm, and I have them all organized. And then here, these are my favorite beads. Sorry about the flash, guys. These are the Steelhead crack beads, and they're like a chartreuse glow, and these catch fish 100% of the time. These are intense. Alright guys, now that we've talked about what we're going to be using, I'll show you how to rig up. So the first thing we're going to do is take our main line, and we're going to take our first bit of shrink tubing, and we're going to slide that on. Next we're going to take our second piece of shrink tubing and slide that on. We're going to slide them about a foot down the main line, and then we can drop in our float. That's done by using the piece of shrink tubing and just slipping them over either end of the float, just like that. Then you can pull the slack tight, and your float is all set. Next, we're going to want to go and grab our number 10 swivel, and using an improved clinch knot, we're going to want to tie that on. Alright, now that we have that tied on, we're going to cut off our slack, and then we're going to go and grab our Berkeley Vanish 6-pound. Now, depending on the water, the depth of the water you're fishing, you're going to want to cut yourself a leader. So I usually fish the credit, and I find a 3 to 4 foot fluorocarbon leader is just about perfect. So I'll cut off 5 feet of fluorocarbon, and then I'll rig that. Tie that on there, on the other end of the swivel. Again with it using. Alright, so now that we have our fluorocarbon leader tied on where our swivel is, we're just going to snip our tags, and always double check your knots. Steelhead fishing requires some of the most rigging. That's what a lot of people hate about it. But now that we have that done, we're going to measure out our 4 feet from the swivel. Some people prefer not to use a swivel and doing a line-to-line knot because that offers more versatility with your float, but it's just personal preference. Okay, now that we have our 4 feet of fluorocarbon measured out, we're going to snip off our tag and throw that away. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take one of our hooks. Again, I'm using the Raven size 10 light wire steelhead hooks. And then, again, with using an improved clinch knot, we're going to tie that on. Alright guys, now that we have our hook tied on, what we're going to want to do is go over to our split shot. And basically, you judge the weight of your float. So say it's a 4 gram. All your split shot combined should be up to 4 grams. So you want to space your split shot out approximately 6 to 8 inches away from each other. And when you get to the hook, you want to have at least 6 to 8 inches in between the hook and your last split shot. So I'll quickly do that and then we'll get back to you. Alright guys, so now that I'm done rigging it up, I got all my shot on. So now we're going to select a bait. We're pretty much done now. So depending on what conditions you're fishing, you'd tie one of these different baits. So for general purpose use, I'd use a bead. And I have a bead rigging tutorial going up in maybe a couple hours or maybe tomorrow or the next day. But usually I'll just take one of these single eggs, thread it onto the hook, and away we go. For dirtier water, or when the water is really cold, I'll put on one of these pink worms. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.